Yo, what's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We are live for the Premier League debate show, even though we got a lot to discuss about the Champions League. I don't know why Kendall's ran away. She's running away from the Champions League already in the group of death. Hey, find out. But listen, we got a lot to discuss. We got Sean in the building. Sean, Mr. Tottenham, how are you, my friend?
Good, mate. I'm good. Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to see all you lovely faces. Good to see the chat. Hope the chat is logged in. Yeah, just struggling along in without European football, no Carabao Cup, not a lot of transfer stories. It's pretty bleak being a Tottenham fan this week, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, listen, man, we'll definitely discuss a little bit of that in the stream. We got man like do-rag settings, you know what I mean? As soon as Ryan Gravenburch comes in, he's got his do-rag on, he's looking fresh, you know what I mean?
You know what?
What are you saying, though?
I've got in from work, and it's always the first thing I do, just to throw it out. Because if I'm just chilling around the house, well, I just need to have the air just out the way. And it's only whenever I come on streams, I either throw a hat on or I leave it out. And we came on with like a minute to go, and it was still on, so it'll just stay now for the rest of the stream. It is what it is, but I'm good. Liverpool making moves in the transfer window at the 11th hour. We love to see it. So all good in the hood, man. All good in the hood.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. We've got Kendall in the building. Kendall, how are you? It's good to see you on the channel. But yeah, Champions League, we'll discuss it. But how are you anyway?
Yeah, I'm really, really good. Thank you. Thank you for finally having me, Saeed. I can't remember if I've been on here before, but I feel like I haven't. So
I think you have. It might have been lockdown.
I was going to say it might have been years ago. Like, what is...
Yeah, that's bad of me.
But I'm back.
Yeah.
What's been going on?
But no,
invite being
listen. Now that Newcastle are relevant, then you know what I mean. It's back. You know, you can be everywhere now. Newcastle, they're doing bits. So now, shout out to Newcastle. We got man like LB. You know what I mean, rigging the Champions League group, but it is what it is. What are you saying?
Yeah, I was going to say, Errol, what are you doing here, man? I thought this was a Champions League draw reaction, but then I seen Saeed about
Don't even try it. Hey, this is all regular. Saeed, tell my man, this is all regular.
Yeah, this is regular. This is regular.
Fairs, man.
Yeah. Well, big up to LB. We got Dan Potts. Listen, Champions League debut in about 7 years, but he's here, man. He's ready. You know what I mean? What are you saying, man, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. Thanks for having me, man. I was surprised to see Spurs and Liverpool on here like LB was, but you know what? It's all love.
It wasn't just me, then, innit? No, it's
even
not
Potts,
it's not
even Potts. All right.
I love you both, man. I love you both, but yeah, we're gonna leave the Champions League to us, Errol. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I don't want to get too cocky. I'll probably end up down there with you soon enough, mate. If we carry on playing the way we're getting. But listen, pleasure to be on, mate, and good to see you.
Definitely, man. Definitely. There's nearly 1,000 people already in here. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Follow everyone's channels. The links are in the description. Support their channels as well. Strasbourg Steve is a Newcastle fan. He says, what a group Newcastle got. This is what the Champions League's all about. I ain't scared. I'm absolutely buzzing to see this group play out. Away the lads. And let's get the group in. Let's analyze the groups and see what's going on. So obviously we got Bayern Munich, shot, but it is what it is. We got Copenhagen and Galatasaray. In Arsenal's group, they got Sevilla, PSV, Alons. A lot of bad Europa League group, that one. You know what I mean? It's not too bad. Group C is an interesting one. Napoli, Real Madrid, Braga, and Union Berlin. Group D, Benfica, Inter Milan, Salzburg, and Real Sociedad. Group E, Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid, Lazio, and Celtic. Not a bad balanced group there, but this is the one, Group F, the group of death. Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund, Milan, and Newcastle in the mix with that one. Crazy group. We'll analyze that one first, and then this pathetic group here. Manchester City, Leipzig, and Red Star Belgrade, and Young Boys. He's not even put the Young Boys correct as well. That's not even how you spell Young Boys. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And then in Barcelona, they've got Barcelona, Porto, Shakhtar, and Royal Antwerp. But we have to start with Kendall. What are your thoughts on that group? Yeah, we do. We can't start anywhere else. That has to be the first group we talk about. It's crazy group. But what's your thoughts?
I jinxed it. Well, I didn't jinx it. It's just so Newcastle United-y to get that group. Like after Sunday, and then after last night, getting Man City in the Carabao Cup, I was like, you know what? We're gonna get the group of death tomorrow. It's literally written in the stars. It's the third thing Like, third thing in bad luck comes in threes. That's what was going to happen. I knew when AC Milan were drew, I was like, we're getting that group, and I know we're going to be in that group. And I was saying it the whole time. And then lo and behold, Newcastle, Group F. I was like, haha, I knew. So it's going to be the Tonali derby, the ex-Alexander Isak derby, whatever you want to call it. But you know what? I said, bring the big boys. I said, bring whatever you want to bring. I'll accept and I'll take it and I'll just embrace the moment. And that's what I'm doing. So, yeah, I think we'll get out of groups. I don't know what anyone else thinks because everyone else is like, you're gonna come fourth. You're not even gonna get in Europa League. I think we're getting out of the groups. So whatever. Delulu is the Salulu. That is where I am at with this right now. So yeah, that's where I'm taking
Love
it.
the faith, Kendall. Love the faith. Big up. Love it.
Exactly. You've got to have it, man, Dan. Like, you've literally got to.
No, but none of those other teams are going to be happy that you're in their group. None of them are going to be happy. Every single one of them is going to be terrified to go to your ground on those Wednesday nights, cold Wednesday nights in Newcastle with that roar from your stadium. I think you've got every chance of picking up 7 points from home. And then if you go and get 2 more points.
Yes, Sean. I
think at home you guys are formidable. I think you're formidable in the Premier League at home. I think you'll be formidable in the Champions League at home. I think that you're a different outfit at home. Away from home is going to be a struggle, I think. But if you can get 6-7 points away at home and then pick up a point here or there away from home, I think you've got every chance of finishing second in that group. PSG for me have had a really strong transfer window, so I feel like they're probably the favourites. But after that, it's a bit of a lottery. I think you'll be fine.
What it is for me, right? It's we spoke about this before. Is last year I seen Newcastle go to Emirates and just sort of like be happy with a point, and I thought that Newcastle were not very good against City at the Etihad in terms of trying to win the game. But the difference is in these games, Newcastle have to be winning the matches. You know what I mean? Like I think the AC Milan game at home and Borussia Dortmund at home, they've got to be looking at getting wins there. So for me, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Eddie Howe sets up in these games to actually go and win the matches, because they've got to win. You know, taking draws at home ain't going to get them through. So I think that's for me it's going to test Eddie Howe. I'm looking forward to the games. I think they're going to be good, and I think they've got a chance of qualifying. I do think they've got a chance. You know what I mean? I think they've. You know, a Borussia Dortmund miles better than Newcastle, AC Milan miles better than Newcastle. I think, you know, they've got to be looking at that second. I think PSG will probably top it. I think most people will say they'll top it, especially if they're back.
Their home form, LB, is this their home form, man? They've got to make that place a fortress, and it's a horrible place to go.
3 out of 3. If
they do that, man, got to win your home games, and then they've got a chance. Of course they have.
Big up to big ticket. Yeah, go on.
Just because obviously,
go on then.
Just because of Sunday's result didn't go the way that Newcastle fans would have wanted. Does that worry you? Is there any part of that that's kind of worrying you when you're coming into the Champions League now that you can't get results against big teams at home?
No, I don't think so. So, like, Sunday was literally just like an anomaly for me. It was just something that went wrong, especially when the subs happened. I think the subs completely spoiled the game. If Gordon at least and Tonali had stayed on, I think we probably would have at least had a draw. So a Sunday doesn't necessarily worry me too much, because again, Liverpool, we're not facing Liverpool in the Champions League, and Liverpool are our bogey team big time. So it doesn't worry me too much. I would have just maybe think now we might actually have to go in with reinforcements now in like the last day of the transfer window, because I don't know how bad Botman's injury is. I don't know how.
It's a big blow, you know.
Yeah,
that's a big blow.
The way I'm looking at it mustn't be bad, because otherwise they would have gone for someone else. That's my opinion anyway. I don't think Eddie Howe would have been happy enough to have Lascelles at centre back against PSG in the Champions League. I can't see that happening. So
when's the first leg of the Champions League? Not
19th and 20th of October, September. Sorry.
So about 3 weeks. Yeah.
3 weeks.
He said in his press conference today, or not his press conference, but in like the media said he's probably going to be involved against Brighton. So obviously his injury's not.
Oh, that's fair then.
Not bad.
That's fair.
But yeah, I'm not too worried. I'm actually I said I wanted was scared of anyone coming to St James Park and stuff. Not because I think we can beat them, just because if we want to be where we want to be in the future, then we've got to face these teams. Like that is how your pedigree in Europe.
Also,
so I'm not being like, I want it easy.
Isn't it the
Go on,
point of
sorry.
being in the Champions League to play against
Yeah.
the biggest teams? Unless you've got a realistic chance of winning it, and respectfully, I don't think Newcastle do, then
No,
isn't
no.
the whole point? Like last season when Tottenham, not to make it about Tottenham, but when Tottenham qualified, and then we got Marseille and Frankfurt and Sporting, I was like, it's not really the point. It's a Europa League group. I want, if we're going to get in the Champions League and not win it, I want to play the best teams because it's just
like Arsenal, isn't
the
it?
best.
Yeah.
So for me, I think Newcastle should enjoy this.
Yeah, listen,
100%.
and also the fact that Tonali is coming back after just leaving right now. I don't think you wanted that though, Kendall. Let's be honest, because the amount of stick that Newcastle fans have been getting about Tonali's not liking it at Newcastle.
He's
He feels
depressed.
so.
He doesn't even smile. Like,
Yeah. And now, when AC Milan come back, he's going to be smiling. Because
you know what?
obviously,
I, honestly,
you know,
I have this horrible like feeling that he's not going to play. I have like a horrible like thing that he's going to be injured or like whatever, and he's not going to play that game. That's just how I feel. I don't know. I genuinely feel like that. So I don't know. It's going to be. The only thing I'm pissed off about is Neymar and Messi not being at PSG because I would have. For Neymar and Messi at St James's Park, I'd have liked that, but yeah, they're not obviously here now, so I'm just gonna have to settle for Mbappe, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, just Mbappe, just you know, the next Dembele's and you know the other players that they've got, you know, just a lot. But listen, 100%. I think for me, big ticket says it here. From being bottom in the league 18 months ago to now going up against PSG, Milan, etc. in the Champions League. Fair play, man. That's what the story's all about, people, man. It's about just the promised land and where they're at right now. So fair play to Newcastle. Strags Balls comes and says our group will go to the very last day. Top spot and bottom won't be more than a 3-point difference. Yeah, that's a good point as well. Emmanuel Santana just talked about it there. Says, Tonali going back to home to Milan. It might be safe to keep him in Newcastle for that trip. You know, I had to come back. That's a funny one. But you know what? It's not only just Newcastle. Listen, United's one as well. I mean, Sean, United, Harry Kane, you know what I mean? Is he going to feel like, oh, I should have been to go into Old Trafford? You know, I should have went there. What are we saying, Sean? Is he going to thrive on that? Harry Kane coming back to England?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I mean, to be honest, I've unfollowed Harry Kane on Twitter, on Instagram and stuff. I'm sick and tired of his updates, but you know, from afar, I've seen he's doing quite well over there, which, you know, I'm happy for the guy.
Yeah.
And do I think he'll do well, you know, in the Champions League? Yeah, look, but the only reason he went there, the only reason that Bayern Munich paid that money, he didn't need to go there for them to win every other trophy apart from the Champions League. They've started their season pretty strong. They look like, you know, they've also brought in and maybe bringing in more good players as well before the window shuts. Bayern Munich are really having a good transfer window. I think they've elevated themselves. If they're not second favourites, I don't know. They're somewhere in the top 3 favourites to lift it. I think they're going to have a good cup run, and I think that, you know, Harry Kane will absolutely relish the chance to put a couple of goals past United.
Yeah, I mean, LB. Listen, United, Galatasaray away. It's one of them for me. If you can avoid like losing to Galatasaray away, get a draw there, and then win your games against Copenhagen, you should have enough to kind of beat. But listen, I don't think we're going to top it, but go through, man. That's an achievement. Going through to the next round. That's all it's about, really.
Yeah, of course it is, because, you know, especially the mess that you're in at the moment. I've said, you know, I think United should be targeting home wins against Copenhagen and Galatasaray, a draw away at Galatasaray, beat Copenhagen. That's 10 points. That should see you through the competition. I don't think you'll get anything at Bayern Munich away or at home. But listen, you know, I think United getting out of that, getting into the last 16, then it's about the draw. See how far you can go. You know, United are probably not going to have a great season this year. I predicted them to have a pretty poor season, but you can make it to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. You know, maybe get to a domestic cup final, re-qualify for the Champions League. That's probably going to be a good season based off of your poor transfer activity and lack of funds at the moment. You know, your club's in a bit of a shambolic position, you know, at the moment. So
Serge Reguilon's having his medical, isn't he, as we speak?
Serge Reguilon.
That's got to smile easy.
No.
Stop. Yeah. Sergio Reguilon is coming to Man United, guys. It's an absolute joke.
He's good. He's good technically. Going forward, you'll be all right. But defensively, that man can't do anything.
You know,
Regulion and Johnny Evans in at United. What year are we in? 2010 or 2023?
You know what's mad, yeah? I know this word.
What happened to Cucurella?
Sorry?
What happened to Cucurella?
Cucurella, so basically, he played in the Carabao Cup, so that means he's cup tied. So that means, obviously, Man United don't see the value in him. But this is what I don't get. Manchester United knew Luke Shaw was out on Thursday. They should have got Cucurella wrapped up by the weekend and said, listen, before we know Chelsea are going to absolutely sabotage it, let's get him in before then. That's what a club should have done. But obviously, Chelsea took the mick and then did what they did and played him. Like, it's not rocket science. I knew they were going to play him like.
Saeed,
obviously now,
is it really worth missing out on Cucurella and getting Serge Regulion just for the basis of having him for the Carabao Cup?
That stinks, man. That ain't true. Who told you that? That's not true. That is not true.
If the only reason you're not getting Cucurella is because
that's what I've seen as well.
Carabao Cup.
Also, it's a loan fee. Also, it's financial as well. Loan fee, they don't want to pay for that. They don't want to pay the loan fee, which is fair enough.
Don't want to pay it or can't afford it.
Well, they can't afford it. Well,
did you not see the bid that they put in for Amrabat? In London?
Yeah.
1 million.
2 installments of 1 million, so they were only guaranteed 1 million.
You know online, yeah.
Actually
There's a GoFundMe. There's a GoFundMe for Amrabat. I'm not even kidding you. There's a guy that's got a GoFundMe for Amrabat. That is an absolute joke, man.
Saeed, this is Manchester United we're talking about.
This is United. This is the biggest club in England. What's going on, man?
Well, it's by name, but not by actuality. It's not. Like, we can say Man United, the biggest club. It's like Barcelona now. Barcelona, not what they used to be.
That Qatar deal not getting done this summer is absolutely spanned you guys, hasn't it?
Spanned, mate. But for me, Regulion he's washed, man. I'd rather play Alvaro Fernandez.
He was at Atletico last season, and I can confirm.
He can't get ahead of Ben Davies at Tottenham.
He's not the one.
He's third choice behind Ben Davies at Tottenham. Let that sink in. And you guys are going to take him.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. You should have sold Maguire and McTominay when you had the chance, man.
I know West Ham offered you the dough as well, innit? And you just turned it down.
But he didn't want to go. Because Southgate as well, by the way, is still keeping the England squad. And this is the things where Harry Maguire's looked at. He's thought, Southgate's keeping me in the England squad. I'm on a decent wage. I still think Varane might get injured somehow. I might still have a role in this team. And I play for my United Football Club. So all in all, I'm not really losing out. But if I go to West Ham, I might not play for England anymore because then, they might look at me different and I might play badly. Sorry?
Fulham want McTominay as well today. It was announced today.
Yeah. Yeah, but listen, how fast are you going to do this? It's just, for me, it's all a joke, man. Manchester United right now, we are a mess.
Are you the banter club, Saeed, at the moment? Are you the banter club, bro, or what? Or is it still Chelsea?
I'd say we are alongside. Listen, I need to see what Liverpool are going to do. I know they've got Ryan Gravenburch, but I still think Liverpool are in there still.
Yeah,
listen, man. I'm pulling you in there, man.
You can't banter us right now.
Listen, we can't banter you right now. End of the day, Liverpool will have their banter. Arsenal, they're in there still because they're serial bottlers now. So listen, there's a couple are in there. It's not only just United. I think Tottenham are there. Tottenham are still there. The history of the Tottenham. So listen, let's not get too excited. There are other teams out there. So let's just wait and see. Chelsea, they must. If they don't even, listen, we got to have a whole conversation about Chelsea. But that's for another story. Guys, it's 1,900 in the building. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, people, man. It's appreciating all the numbers here and the support here. But please do like the video. Arsenal, I want to go to Arsenal. The mighty Arsenal are back in the Champions League. Not a bad group, Dan. Not a bad group at all. It's Sevilla, PSV, who have lost a lot of players. Players. And who's the last group as well in that? Who's the last group
as well?
There you go. Arsenal. Yeah, they were decent last season, but the last couple of players in that one.
Yeah, man, I'm buzzing, man. I can't lie. I think that's the best group we could have hoped for, really, out of all of them. It's the one that I would be happy with. As soon as we got Seville, I'm like, cool. I'm happy with that because as much as I don't disrespect what they've done, we could have done a lot worse. And I think PSV are a team that we already know about. We beat them in the Europa League group stages of last year. So now they join us again in the Champions League. And to be fair to Lons, they've done well last season from what I can work out. I think they were flirting with the top for a bit. But I'd expect us to go through this group quite comfortably, if I'm honest with you. And if we don't, then serious questions need to be asked, man. I'm not looking at that group at the moment. I'm thinking, wow, I don't see where we're going to get points from home and away. And I think if I was Manchester United, I'd be doing that with Bayern Munich and looking at Galatasaray away, thinking that's going to be difficult, man. Newcastle, listen, maybe group of death is a compliment as well to Newcastle because it means they're in a group of death, which means they must be a half-decent side as well. But as far as I'm concerned, man, Arsenal, yeah, if we don't go through this group, serious
Why?
questions have to be asked, man.
The
Serious
pressure's on
questions.
now, though, innit? The pressure. This is where the pressure really
Yeah.
starts for Mikel Arteta, because when you look at a group like that, I know Saeed was bantering before saying it's a Europa League level, but that's where he struggled. That has been the level that he struggled at a couple of seasons. I had this conversation with Lee last week saying he hasn't rectified the mistakes of the Europa League in the last couple of years. So now he's given a group that you can argue is in and around that level. That is probably where you are gonna. He's rarely going to earn his coin, because at the end of the day, everybody expects you to go through. And for me, I don't really see the pressure on Newcastle in the same way. I know Newcastle's journey is different, but they can't feel aggrieved if they go out in the group that they've got. Whereas if you didn't make it through that group and you fell into the Europa League, that's a big L for yous.
Oh, massively. You can look at everything two ways. You can look at it as, well, Arsenal have topped the group, it's looking good. Or you can look at it as, wow, what's happened? For me, I understand what you're saying. And yes, we have been terrible in the Europa League. But as LB was saying to me earlier, look at the team we were putting out to try and beat these teams. We were trying to win with Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, Fabio Vieira, Rob Holding. We ain't going to be able to do that anymore. So if you're going to go and get, you want to be in the biggest competitions, man, you've got to have a squad that's big enough to go and compete. And I don't think we've done enough.
Are you happy
in the
enough with
transfer
your squad then?
No, I'm not, Errol. Like I've said this to you, bro. I don't think we've had a good window. I think Declan Rice is a great player, but other than that, we've spent 235 million on rotational players like Havertz and David Raya and Timber, who unfortunately now is injured. So we haven't strengthened in defence. We haven't got a right-sided centre back. If Saliba goes down in January, Tomiyasu is in the Asian Cup. We're back to who at the back? No one, right? So we're desperate for Saliba not to get injured yet again. Declan Rice is the only box-to-box midfielder at the club. There's nobody else that can do that job. So if he gets injured, who do we replace him with? Havertz? He can't do that role. So we got Saka, who's now played 87 consecutive games. He goes down. We've got Reece Nelson. Is he good enough? No. Up top, Jesus, he goes down. Eddie Nketiah, is he going to win us the league, the Champions League? No. So I'm sorry, we still got 3 or 4 positions we ain't done nothing in, and it looks like we'll potentially get one player in, but this isn't a good enough side for the Champions League, man. No chance. So
your season rides on keeping as many of your spines as possible.
And Partey and Tomiyasu are both out in January for the African Cup of Nations and the Asia Cup. So that's 2 more players down. Like, I don't know what's going on. We started off so well, Rice and Timber. I'm thinking this is a good start. Keep it going. Since then, we've got the goalkeeping situation, which everyone's questioning, and Havertz, who, let's be real, in 3 games has done nothing more than we needed at Chelsea. So no, man, I'm not happy. I can't lie. And people will say it's toxic and negative if they want, but I'm just telling what I think it is. I'm just trying to speak real. I don't look at that Arsenal side right now and think that is strong enough to win a league or a Champions League. Absolutely not. We have to win a cup, man. We have to win a cup trophy this season. Otherwise, Arteta, serious questions.
My thing for it, Dan, is I think you'll piss the group, but it's how you then react for the Premier League games, which, of course, you just mentioned. Then I keep saying that Arsenal last year in the Europa League were playing, they're basically their reserve side. So then when they were going into the Premier League games, all their Premier League players were basically fresh, but they're not going to be able to do that this year in the Champions League. Now, they might get away with not having to play an out strong 11 in the games against maybe PSV and the other team you've got, but you'll still have to play a good core. I don't think Arsenal are good enough to sort of be like full rotating. So it's how you then react in the Premier League. And that's why I've been saying since the start of the season that I think that Arsenal might drop off in the league this year just a bit, because I don't know how they're going to react there, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
It's not just Arsenal, like someone in the chat, or Lawrence, to be fair to me, saying you're moving like it's only Arsenal to get injuries, but we have to do that because this Man City side get injuries and they can cover it. They've got Foden, they've got Bernardo Silva. Yeah, you're right. We can laugh at Liverpool and Man United if you want, and they're in the same bracket as us. They've, Man United are back to Martial if that Højlund doesn't kill it. Yeah, not good enough. They're an injury at centre back away from Harry Maguire coming back in the side. They're what I'm saying? They're already struggling in midfield if Casemiro gets injured. Who's their backup? So it's not just Arsenal. But I don't care about the other clubs. I care about my club. So I look at what we're doing. It ain't enough. It ain't enough, man.
Sorry, I just say though, Dan, we don't have the depth that you just sort of made out there.
Oh, you do, LB. Come on, man.
What, bro? We've got 3 wingers at the football club.
Bruv, You've got
Listen,
Bernardo
that's City
Silva,
problems,
you've got
isn't it?
Foden,
City
you've got
problems.
Grealish,
That's what you
you've got
call
Jeremy
City
Doku,
problems.
That's 3, right? What your wingers?
right?
Martinelli.
You've got Jeremy.
Stamford,
You've got Jeremy
We've
Doku.
got proper first world problems in comparison to Potts there. Like proper
Wait,
first
wait,
world
no,
problems.
wait a second.
Nah,
Yeah.
We've got 3 wingers.
That's
We've
no
got
why,
3
bro.
wingers.
Because it doesn't matter whether you've got the wingers or not. You've got a goal machine up top. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You've got
Yeah,
someone
no,
who
we're
can
not talking
defend
about
goals
goal machine.
and defensively.
You've got Pep.
And well, there's Pep obviously, but
We've got
defensively,
Pep as well,
also
who's
our
a
team
player in himself. Yeah.
going back to just
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this, right? Sorry, Errol. I'll tell you this, LB. 2 players, if you lose, then you should worry. Ederson and Rodri. Otherwise, you can feel everyone, mate. You've got Doku, you've got Bernardo Silva, you've got Foden, you've got Grealish, you've got Alvarez, you've got Haaland. All of those attackers. Come on, man. Jesus.
No,
They're
we
walking
covered
past
at the back, but winger-wise, are we any stronger than you in depth on the wings? We got Grealish, Bernardo, and Doku. You got Saka, Martinelli,
City
Trossard.
problems.
So we're 3 for 3 there. Midfield,
Right.
attacking midfield.
Keep
We've
going
got
then. That's the wingers. Keep going with the rest
right.
of the
So
squad.
attacking midfield, we've got Foden and Kevin De Bruyne. That's 2. You got Odegaard. You got Rice, who
That's where it
obviously
stopped.
played in that sort of position. You got Smith Rowe off the bench. So you got the depth. What depth? Where's our depth? Like, where's our magical depth that you're on about? We ain't got them, in the midfield going forward. We ain't got it.
Your depth in attack is fine, man. When it gets to the mid, the only positions at Manchester City that I think, could be an issue. If Rodri goes out, I don't see a replacement there. I don't personally. Calvin Phillips, he's there, but is he really their quality? There's a drop off. Kovacic, yeah, fair play, Kovacic.
They'll play a 2 in the
I'm not
base.
sure.
They'll play. Yeah.
But then
No,
you've got and
you
then
know
the
what it is
goal.
for me?
That's it. That's it,
Shall I tell
man.
you what it is,
Everyone else
guys?
can cover.
They have quality. It's not the depth, yeah. We've got depth, but it's the quality that they've got.
It's the quality,
They've got a
exactly. It's
15,
the drop off.
16. Yeah, but there's no drop off. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We have Casemiro out. We got McTominay. You see what I mean? Like you lose Rodri or whoever. You've got the Nunes. I'm being serious.
No, what it is,
I don't think Man City have got great depth, but they've got quality of depth.
Nah, what it is we've got players who can play multiple positions. We use the smallest squad in the Premier League last
There you
year.
go.
We use
And who does that? Manager.
Yeah, so we got one of the smallest squads in the Premier League, but we've got like players who can play multiple positions.
And you won the treble. So don't sit there. And
Sorry, Calvin Phillips. 60
No,
million.
I'm not
Calvin
sitting
Phillips,
here. I'm not sitting here, bro. At the moment.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying you've got enough to cover you though, because you've been there and done it. Whereas my man now, Dan's about to be through into the fire, and he hasn't. He doesn't know if his team can do it on the extra front, doing the doing the Tuesday, Saturday, the Wednesday, Sunday. He doesn't know his team are equipped to do that right now. Whereas you and your lads are fully aware of the fact that he's done it last season, and he's done it. Apart last season, like, let's not talk about the Prem because the Prem was well aired, but the Champions League, he's almost done that at a canter. There was no one really pressing you. You were never really up against it in the Champions League. So you've managed your squad well enough, whether you've got players that you consider out-and-out wingers or you've got players that are multifaceted that can play in different positions. You, man, are covered. Arsenal, on the other hand, genuinely, if they lose that spine, or as Dan says, if Rice goes missing, or if Saliba goes missing, or if Saka gets injured, they're in trouble, not only for the Champions League, but it'll have a knock-on effect to the Premier League as well, surely.
Well, maybe they shouldn't have signed Havertz then for £60 million.
Well, this is my
point. That's what I'm saying, You have to make decisions. You have to make good decisions. And that's the problem. United have not made the good decisions. We spent 85 on Anthony. Again, Man City has spent $1 billion, but we've also spent $1 billion. So how you use that money? And this is why, for me, when Newcastle, people say, Newcastle spent a lot of money. They really haven't. If you look actually deeper, they've actually spent wisely in the areas. You know what I mean? They haven't gone and just splashed the cash. They've actually gone.
And we didn't spend for like 7 years or something before that. So
but there you go.
We're just trying to catch up, man. We're just trying to catch up.
Oh, that won't wash. We've been saying that for a decade, and they didn't accept that. Trying to catch up. That's not a valid argument, apparently. So
it's a different sort of money. That's what they're saying, man. It's what they're saying. But guys, there's over 2,000 people in here. Make sure you guys are liking the video. We've hit, I think, 500 likes. Let's get up to 700-800, if not 1,000. So if you are new here, make sure you like the video. We're gonna move on to Liverpool, man. Listen, I thought to myself, you know what? Like, let Errol just sit in the corner and just like be quiet, like Champions League talk, Like, I thought, let me just keep him quiet. And then just before we went live, like literally like 2 or 3 minutes before we went live, Liverpool reached an agreement with Bayern Munich to sign Ryan Gravenburch, fixed fee, €40 million, level international to join on a long-term contract. 21-year-old flying to Liverpool this evening before medical Friday.
Well, they
And I think
handing
from
out the Chelsea contracts now at Liverpool, are they?
yeah,
Gonna have to.
long-term contract. Hey, hey.
Look, I'll
They
take
didn't want Chelsea to beat them to another player, is it? They were just like, oh, we're
and
just
that
going to
as
do what
well.
they do.
We'll have it
They're
all.
just going to do
Kendall-
what they do. We'll give them a contract.
Kendall, we're starving, girl. Let me tell you, I will be the first to tell you, I will hold my hands up. We are starving. I've done shows with these three lads for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and all they've been telling me is, yeah, you need another midfielder. Get another midfielder in, and we can start talking about Liverpool seriously. Saeed's worried. He wants to sit me in the corner, but he's shaking in the corner. He knows he's about to hold another 7 when he comes up to Anfield just now.
But what corner? What's that corner? Is that Dan there? You pointed that way, man. You pointed the right way. There we go.
So I'm just, do you know what it is? Yeah, I'm not overly hyping this kid. I don't know too much about him. I've not watched much of him from even when he was Ajax over to Bayern. I know he went to Bayern with high expectations and has not really set the world alight. So that's fine. He comes now and he's got an opportunity to prove himself. We've done that through the years with a load of players, especially in midfield. We've had players that haven't hit the heights of big established clubs, come here, make a name for themselves, end up finding themselves going on to that next level and becoming a superstar. So hopefully he's another one of those. The best thing that I can see from this is it just gives us extra options in midfield. I've been looking at the Endo situation, and I seen someone mention a player the other day, and it reminded me. Endo reminds me of what El Neni is to Arsenal. He's not going to be that guy that you go to or you want in your starting 11, but he drops a 6 or a 7, considering his ability, more often than he drops a 4 or a 5. And I'll take that if that's what he's able to do. Whereas this Gravenburch, he seems like someone that you're expecting bigger and better things from. So apparently he's going to be playing on that left-hand side of the 8. That means him and McAllister have got automatic competition. McAllister, I think he settled all right, but I don't think he's hit the same sort of stride as Szoboszlai. So as a result, it's good that he's got a little bit of competition now. We see him as a bit more of a versatile player that might be able to play the 6 as well. So gives Klopp more options, less excuses as far as I'm concerned, and hopefully reinforces what we need in the squad to the point now where we only need another defender in before the window. And you can say about the price, you can say about the profile. We haven't really got a marquee signing. But if Liverpool have got astute signings that can do the job and bolster our squad right now, I'll take it, because I was one of them that didn't think we was going to get anybody in before the end of the window.
But Errol, is this the right type of player? I know you just kind of mentioned it, but is this the right type of 40 million euros? A lot of money, man. Like, is this the right thing? This isn't the type of player that I thought you guys needed.
It's as Ken said there before, it's going to be a long-term signing for us. So that means he might come in the door as a left-sided 8. He might leave in the same way Gini Wijnaldum left Liverpool, and you're no longer that 10. You're now playing a different role, and you're playing a little bit more of a holding role. So I don't know what Klopp is going to plans to mold him into or make of him. And we might not see that happen for 12 months, 18 months. You don't know. It just depends what's needed at the time. But right now, we need bodies and we need midfielders, bro. So it doesn't matter how we want to play. As long as we've got midfielders, there might be a case to say, yeah, you can play a double pivot with Trent. Who knows? But without the midfielders, we know we're short. So at least having him there, it's better to have and not need than to need and not have. And that's what we're leaving ourselves on. Do you get me?
Liverpool have messed this up, though, weren't they? Big time.
We've had this conversation. Time. We know that. We already know that.
If you're saying that, like, Endo and Bajcetic are the only 6s at the club now, that's a worry for me. That's a worry. That ain't good enough to win a title. And I really thought that Liverpool, and I said this to LB, LB said, I fancy Liverpool the way they've started to be closest to City. And I said, not without a centre-back and a holding midfielder. And at the moment, you still don't have another centre-back. And I imagine you're going to try and scramble around for one of those next as well. And you've, sold all your players in midfield. All 5 of them are gone. And then the last day, you're putting in bids for Gravenburch. This is a poor planning. This is unlike Liverpool. This is just not Liverpool for me over the last few years.
100%.
And Salah might leave as well. Salah might leave. You never know.
Stop trying it. Stop trying.
You never know.
Stop trying it.
Bro,
do you know
who knows?
The Saudis need to do something for me after Sunday. I'm not going to lie. The Saudis need to be like, excuse me. The last thing you can do for us, take it. That's what I need you to do.
Do you know what it is, though, Dan? And the thing is, I like 60-70% agree with what you're saying. However, Gravenburch was one of those players that we was linked to back in January when we was talking about, or when there was conversations about Bellingham. People were also talking about Bellingham or Gravenburch. There was all those conversations. So to say that Liverpool haven't planned for this, there's been a world where Gravenburch has been a Liverpool player or on the card to join Liverpool for a number of months now. It's just how do we formalise it and when does it get formalised?
Yeah.
So at some point, there's someone in our camp that's really rated them highly that wants to get this deal over the line, and he persevered with it at the end of the day. Am I happy that we let Fabinho out? You know my thoughts on that. We should have got whoever his replacement is for that specialist role in before we let him go, and we should have let Fabinho go this week. That should have been our play. If it was me holding the cards, Fabinho would have been going this week for the money in the bank, and it would have been a done deal. However, they let him go early, and we've been scrambling ever since. And that's where I agree with you. Ever since then, Liverpool have become reactionary, and we've had to scramble. So now I haven't seen a solid centre-back link for us that I would consider a solid link since probably the early parts of the window.
That's crazy.
In the next
FSG or whoever it is, if it's Klopp, for me, Klopp, did he really need to go and get Gakpo when he should have got a midfielder that window? There's certain things I don't know who's controlled.
I'm glad we got Gakpo though at the same time because he was.
I'm glad, but then did you really need when you had that midfield crisis though? Did you really need Gakpo or did you need a midfielder? And now it's almost like, did you really need Gravenburch? Like Dan says, where you needed a whole midfielder. Did you really need Gravenburch when you need a centre back? It's always a bit like Liverpool make the right decision, but not the right time. Like it has to be first priority, and then you get your little bits and bobs here and there in that regards. You know what I mean? That's just the way I kind of look at it. But maybe this is the Liverpool style. It's rock and roll. You know what I mean? High energy, win the ball back.
I don't. Obviously, we've got Possesses. Thiago is probably going to play a deeper role at this year. As long as he's got someone next to him, I see Klopp deploying him in a deeper role. I'll be honest with you. And then on top of that, we've got obviously Endo. My thing is, if those lads don't hit the ground running, I could see Klopp getting rid of the idea of a 6 in our system anyway. Now, I don't have the answer to what he moves to. I don't know if he's going to go to a 4-2-3-1 and try and accommodate getting Núñez in the team a little bit more and have 2 players sitting. But the idea would be that Gravenburch could sit and so could probably McAllister. So there's 2 players that can sit comfortably if they've got somebody alongside them. So we've seen it with Brighton last year. McAllister was able to sit when he had Caicedo next to him. So, look, the lad wouldn't come if he knew that Klopp was going to play him in a position that he didn't want to play in. If he didn't want to be a part of that, because I've said it for weeks, nobody wants to do the graveyard shift for Klopp. That's why we've not been able to get a specialist number 6. No one's wanted to do that graveyard shift. But my man's decided that he's happy to come and do what he has to do. So hopefully it works, and hopefully it gives us the opportunity now to use it as a bit of a springboard, because it's not a marquee signing by any means, but in terms of bolstering the squad, it could be a little coup.
Yeah, Abdishek says here 65 million for Mount equals 40 million for Gravenburch and 25 million for Mount. Amrabat, sorry, absolute shambles, and Ten Hag is equal to blame for this. Ten Hag out if we don't win a trophy, bloody hell. But listen, I hear you. I didn't want Mount, and if Mount meant that Gravenburch and Amrabat for the same price, that's crazy. That's wild. That would have been perfect for me. You got an 8 in Gravenburch, and then you got a 6 in Amrabat. That would have been so much perfect for us. But I'm surprised he didn't go for Amrabat, knowing how little the price is. But again,
I find weird about this whole transfer thing, to be honest with you, bro, because I'm like, if we know that he's only 25 mil, the people within the clubs all know that he's only 25 mil. So as a result, why wouldn't you have and again, he might have the conversation, but it doesn't become public knowledge. To me, that would have been a no-brainer. But maybe because he's of a similar age profile as Endo, they thought, well, we've got our experienced head. We don't need another experienced head. We need a different profile of player, potentially. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think with Liverpool, Errol, I think that your attack, and this is what I've been saying to Dan for some time, your attack this year will get you out of trouble. And that's exactly what happened at St. James's Park last weekend. And that's why I've been saying to Dan, I think Liverpool will do well this year. The fact is, though, that midfield is not going to be able to control some of the big games, and maybe just games against other teams, and it will cost you points. And I think that's why you'll probably end up coming short. And that's why I've said I think you needed a proper DM. Obviously, you've not got one. I agree now.
About the Caicedo thing, we can.
I agree now.
Dropping the ball, but once that happened, who genuinely?
I agree.
Say, come on,
I completely agree, and that's why you needed Caicedo. I completely agree with what you're saying. But you've not got that, and that's why I think that will probably cost you from winning the league this year. But listen, I think Saeed said rock and roll football. I think you're going to get some proper exciting football matches, and it's just going to be like get the ball forward.
My heart can't take it. Sunday was horrible. There was not like
I know.
I did not enjoy Sunday one until the 82nd minute. I really enjoyed shit. I was just expecting the absolute worst. And
that was the weirdest game ever, man. Couldn't believe that game, man.
And enjoy a match for 70 odd, 75, 78 minutes. And then all of a sudden your mood just switches completely and does a 360. So it's going to be an interesting season where Liverpool are concerned. But I'm just hoping that this lad, as I say, will develop in that role, can play alongside somebody and get given a fair crack at the whip. As I say, all the lads that come in will get a fair crack at the whip from me, and they'll just have to prove themselves worthy enough to wear the shirt. It's simply one of them, isn't it?
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Big up to Donny. LFC says this is a top sign. He can play double pivot. He's tall and physical and good on the ball. Again, I spoke to some Ajax fans last week, and they said he's similar to De Jong. He can receive the ball on the half turn from the sixth role and actually can be that box to box. So he's actually better than what you think he is, and he might develop into a 6 as well. Some players are at 8 and then they develop into a 6. So you don't know people, man. You don't actually know.
Obviously, going to have something in the plan for him. It might not be this year. We see that. But that might be the progression of his role.
He's only 21 as well, so it's important people not to gas him up too much. And he's going to need time. He's going to need time to develop into the league, obviously a more physical league. So just see how he gets on. I won't be putting too much pressure on him.
Well, though, LB, I think that's why we got Endo, just in case his progression isn't Endo yet to the level we need it to be. This other lad's got experience to just drop him in, and we can get through certain games for the period of time. That might be the plan B or C, but the reality is it doesn't matter who comes through the door now. There's pressure on because we need performance. Everyone, the pressure's on this season. It's not going to be easy. The first couple of weeks have shown us that. And if it's the team on the other side of the pitch that isn't trying to shoot you down, it's going to be these officials. I've said the lads this as well. These officials are going to fuck all of our teams over at some point this season. So you best be on your own job.
Yeah, but you're not saying that wasn't a red card for Van Dijk like Carragher, though, are you?
I didn't say that.
No. Oh, it's just because you. No, it's just because you mentioned officials. And I heard Carragher, mate, on TV said it wasn't a red card for Van Dijk. And I was like, what?
No, it's a red card, man. Come on, man.
Clear
and he's out now for 2 games. He's out for 2 games now. Is he out for 2 games now?
Did he get the second one? I thought it was only the 1 game. I've not heard. I haven't really.
Didn't he get charged though for the FA?
Charged.
Yeah.
So it'll be an extra game. So now you've got no Kanate and no Van Dijk. It's peak, man. Liverpool, man. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. These man, they're in that banner. I mean, I'm saying this. We'll see, man. You got Villa on the weekend, and Villa are my kind of second favorite team in the Premier League right now. They play some good football, man. So we'll see. Guys, still 2,000 people in here. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Let's get 1,000 likes, people, man. Hit the subscribe button if you're new as well. Subscribe to these guys' channels. I wanted to touch on Tottenham a little bit and what you've made of the whole Ansu Fati. I'll come to you, Kendall. Like, that was a bit of a wild one. Like, I know you watch a lot of La Liga. You know what I mean? Are you surprised he's gone to Brighton instead of Tottenham? Or are you just thinking, you know what? Like, why? It's Brighton showing ambition.
No disrespect to Brighton, or anything. But I just did not think that I was going to see Ansu Fati play for Brighton. I just didn't. I mean, I didn't think he was going to play for Newcastle either. But I just didn't. To be honest, I didn't even expect him ever to come to the Premier League. He's one of them players that I just didn't. Yeah. I didn't see in the Premier League because I think, as much as I think he's literally such a good player, he has been injured last season though, and I don't even know if he is still injured or whether he's just come back, because he was injured at the beginning of the season as well. He just was one of them players I just never thought I was going to see in the Premier League, because he's just, there is players that they just don't suit the Premier League and stuff. I mean, I'll probably end up being I'm not saying he won't suit the Premier League, just when I watched him play for Barcelona. And yeah, I think he'll be decent for De Zerbi. I think he'll be good. He was linked with Atletico as well, because they were going to do like a João Felix / Ansu Fati swap deal, and then Barcelona said no, they didn't want to do that. So I actually do still think Felix will end up at Barcelona based on this. But yeah, I think Ansu Fati is a really, really good. It's a decent signing for the season. Obviously, because it's not permanent, it's just for a loan. So I think it'll be a really good signing. And yeah, it's mental. Brighton fans just be like what? They're probably thinking, like, what is this? Because they've got an Europa League for the first time ever, or even like Europe for the first time ever. Now Ansu Fati's at the club, who is like literally one of the like used to be one of the wonder kids that everyone was looking forward to. Like, obviously, Pedri and Gavi, they came through a bit and ended up being a little bit better. But yeah, it's a bit mad. Like, that's
Are you
like
nervous Saturday now?
it's one of
Are you
them
nervous Saturday? He
football
might
manager.
play.
Oh, can we just not talk about because I literally this week's just topped us off. Although today, I think maybe this is like the third. You know, like bad luck comes in threes. I feel like this today was like the third bad thing that could have happened. So we've got to have some good luck somewhere along the way, right? That's what I'm thinking in my head.
He's gonna play. I can't wait for that game.
I'm so nervous. Like, and we're not going to do any more business now. I can't see it. So yeah, I'm nervous now.
I think it's funny how you think getting beat by Liverpool was a part of the bad luck.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. I have not stopped thinking about that. Do you understand? I literally haven't stopped thinking about that. I've actually thought about it every single second of every single day since I can't get out of it. I wasn't even excited for today because of it. I was like, oh well, that I can't stop thinking about Sunday. So it is what it is. But yeah, Ansu Fati he'll be great for De Zerbi. He'll be great for Brighton as well. And this is no doubt going to happen. And then I'll just top my week off. You know what I mean? I may as well just say see you later. Just I'll be the one sitting in the corner. I won't be done anymore. I'll just be sitting in the corner. Like just peace out everyone. But yeah, he'll be good for Brighton. It'll be decent.
Yeah, I mean,
although someone did post earlier being like, "Oh, scary hours for the Premier League." Mitoma, Sully March, and Ansu Fati. I was like. Ooh, scary time.
Or let's have,
that was just so mad.
Ansu Fati. They could have Ansu Fati, the Brazilian kid Pedro, and Mitoma, or they could have obviously the Ferguson kid. So they've got some firepower, and they're in the Europa League as well, aren't they? Europa League.
Yeah, they're in Europa. That's what Brighton have needed, though, a little bit of firepower.
The thing is, though, if you're Barcelona, right? So go on, Dan.
No, go on, bro. Go on.
I was just going to say, if you're Barcelona, right, you're looking at Ansu Fati. He obviously got that bad injury a couple of years ago, didn't he? And he's never really been back in. I've just looked at his minutes, and he's been playing last 2 years, but like on and off. And last year, he was just basically coming off the bench. So you're Barcelona. You're like, okay, we know there's a player in here, right? We need to kickstart this guy's career again because we can't do it here because we need players who are winners and can start week in, week out because we're going for La Liga, Champions League. So now you're looking, okay, we're looking around Europe. You don't want to strengthen another La Liga team. Okay, you're looking at someone like Brighton. Brighton pays full wages, which is a madness, and they will probably guarantee at Barcelona that they'll play him every single week. They play a fantastic brand of football, and he'll be playing Europa League football. I mean, it's one of the best places to potentially sign him, to send him if you're a Barcelona, from Barcelona point of view. So I think it's going to be a madness. I can't wait for it, man.
Spurs, then what happened with Spurs? I'm out the loop.
Well, bro, would you? Maybe it's. I don't know. But is it maybe that like Barcelona?
It's Levy.
What? Don't
it's
want to
Levy. He's being slow.
He probably doesn't want to pay his wages either.
We'll pay 180.
Wages. He's on. What did he say his wages were? 160k a week.
180. Yeah.
So.
But if I was Barca, bro, I'd send him. I'd send him to Brighton, not Tottenham.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, though, De Zerbi's been like a massive thing in getting him in at Brighton. Like Ansu Fati said, he wants to play for De Zerbi, so I think that must have been another thing.
Talking of banter clubs, this is the banter club, man. These are the gift that keep on giving. I'm sorry, it's just beautiful to see. Ange Ball, silky football, dumps out the Carabao Cup before anyone else kicks the ball. Love it, man. I can't stand this club. Their fan base just don't do my head in, man. They all start getting cocky.
Spurs
but have you heard the commentators about them as well, Dan? Like the commentary on the football, they literally I won't even say that word, but like they're literally actually obsessed with Ange and like obsessed with Tottenham and like honestly, it's genuinely making me sick to my stomach because I don't even mind him. I think he's like a proper canny bloke. Like I think he's like funny and he knows how to answer interviews and stuff. But God, the loving
over the
is
top. Yeah, man, it's unreal. And this is the thing. Like I put out
hated every manager. That's why.
I put out concern for welfare for Tobes. He has got back to me. He is okay. He is all right.
Yeah.
So we'll speak more on that. But oh man, he was so in the mud last. That's the quickest L I've ever seen someone get, man.
He deserves it because he was literally he was at me on Sunday about Liverpool. He was literally like, hold it. And I was like, why are you literally trying to
Was that quicker than the Caicedo one from the other week, Dan? Do you think?
Probably was, probably on par with it.
It was. Wow. No, it was. Because I heard literally, I remember Tottenham are actively involved. Then Brighton were just saying Brighton are looking to get in it. And this is where Fabrizio's making his pee. And fair play to him, yeah. This Twitter blue and stuff like that. He literally knew. So he teased everyone. And then straight away, a minute later, it was here we go. And I was like, what? Like, bro. Like, these guys know what's going on. And then bang, Tottenham were in meltdown. Toby, Fuad, every single Tottenham fan, Henry, like you name them, they were in meltdown because they're thinking to themselves, hold on a minute, Brighton are showing more ambition. West Ham are showing more ambition than Tottenham. West Ham are showing more ambition than Tottenham. And even
West
for
Ham
me, I'm
are
looking at
running
Arsenal, I'm like, yo, listen.
Who was in for kudos? Was it West Ham and Tottenham and Brighton?
Brighton.
Sorry,
Brighton as well.
Tottenham, and then West Ham.
I'm actually genuinely surprised they went to West Ham, to be fair. I thought there would be more like higher level suitors, like for not. I mean, I know West Ham won a European trophy and stuff last year, and no disrespect to them. I just mean like
Kendall, we don't have to do that. Just
no, like genuinely though, because I mean they were better than us for ages. But like I just thought it would be actually like a top 6 club or like a high level across Europe. That's what I genuinely thought. So I was surprised that he went to West Ham, to be fair.
I reckon he's got 100%. Some like pretty low release clause in there. I reckon it'll come out there that like maybe his release clause is lower than people might expect.
Boys, I've got to shoot, and girls, I've got to shoot.
Yeah, big up, Dan.
A bit, all right.
Love for coming on.
Big
up. I think you know what it is for me though. Like it's scary how everyone's getting closer, and it's competitive, and it's dog eat dog, man. Like guys, you know what I mean? Like Newcastle next year, I expect them to spend again. I expect them to level up the gap. This is why I'm like, yo, Ten Hag, like you got to find some other players that you don't know, you know, because I want to get these little hidden gems. You know, I want to get these little players that nobody's talking about. But Ten Hag's going,
I thought we were going to do. I thought because obviously Dan Ashworth was at Brighton and they always got them like South American gems and they're continuing to. And I genuinely thought that's the route we were going to go, but we haven't. We've gone for like youth, English.
I think it is. You know what that South American thing though.
Going on there with Eddie, but yeah.
You know when you get them South American though, the gambles, like they either like really pay off or they flop. We've seen it a lot of the times, and I don't think Regulion, man.
Oh my god, get that out. I'm blocked.
$2 to $3 mil a pop. You could have 10 of them in your academy, just sitting there chilling and just waiting.
I think clubs do that, Errol, who are already up there. You know, like so City do that quite a lot, but we can do that because our team's up there. I don't think respectively, like United, they can't be going out spending 10, 20 million on these, South American gambles when they can't even afford a £2 million loan fee for Amrabat. So this is where you're at. So yeah, the hidden gem things though, is obviously it's a difficult one because do you want to be the club that gambles? Do you want to be the club that gambles?
You tell us how you get all these players. How do you get all these players?
What players?
These Borge and all these guys. These guys that you get in and you sell them for 30-odd million. Tell us the success.
Well, you got to have, I don't know what you got to have a £300 million academy. First of all, you're still at that. Where are you at? Where's your academy still? Is that a Carrington still?
Mate. It's Carrington. But they train at Lee Village, and it's all. Listen, like I said to you, like Man City have sold Cole Palmer for 45 million. They've sold Cole Palmer for 45 million. I guarantee Man United would not have sold it for more than 5 million. And that's where it comes down
to Southampton as well, didn't you? It's for like 20 million, isn't it?
15 million, I think it was.
But you know what it is? Because everyone's now playing this brand of football that Pep introduced, so if you want to get these young players for cheap, you're going to go to, generally, you are going to go to City. City's academy, by the way, I've just won, I think they won the under-16s, under-18s, and the under-21 Premier League. I think they three-peated two of them. There was a three-peat. So you are going to go there. And by the way, Joe Shields has a lot to do with this because he was a City Academy director. He went to Southampton. He bought about 5 of them. Then he went to Chelsea and he's bought obviously Cole Palmer. So he does have a lot to do with that. But listen, it's a man. The transfer man.
He's in the City Academy. He's doing well.
Oh yeah. Well, what level is he at?
I think he's probably under 17s now. He's only young. He was in the England camp as well.
What's the Liverpool Academy like, by the way? Liverpool Academy is a bit overrated, isn't it? It's a bit overrated, isn't it?
I wouldn't even say that it's overrated. It's probably not on the same level as City's, and it's not as prominent as the London clubs. That's just because of where we're located. It's hard to get as much talent as
that's true.
In the area.
That's true,
we're kind of priced out. So every now and again, there'll be a gem that they will assess and throw the bank at their age. Do you know what I mean? Relative to their age, they will go all in for a young kid if they think, like the way we did with Harvey Elliott, the way we did Raheem Sterling, people like that, and they fast track them. But in terms of the academy, it's a little bit hit and miss. As I say, there are some gems in there, but I think everyone's saying at the minute, Ben Doak, he's another one. He looks scary. He's come through the academy. He looks like a scary prospect. And then we nicked someone from Newcastle not so long ago that Pete always tells me about. I think he's a defender. I'm not sure. It's not Bradley. It wasn't Bradley. I can't remember.
It's Clark. Bobby Clark.
Yeah, Bobby Clark. Yeah, that's it. That's his name. So
Sunderland's academy is better than ours, so that just tells you everything. Really, like ours is getting better. It's getting better, but we're like miles away. Like
you've got a new training academy though.
Better than ours. Yeah, it's getting better now. Like there's like obviously Lewis Miley and Elliot Anderson and stuff's coming through now, and we've got the most Newcastle supporting players in the Premier League. Like, you know, who childhood kids who supported the club. We've got the most in the Premier League, but they're not good. Like the last one who came out was like the last decent prospect was like Andy Carroll. So yeah, that's how good ours has gone for the last.
Liverpool messed him up. Liverpool messed him up, mate. Liverpool. When he went to Liverpool, mate, you lot absolutely ruined his career, man. It was downhill from there on. Why did
he found the town centre, found the nightclubs, found the girls, and his head just went.
Yeah. He was unreal that season.
Also, he wears like the number 2. He wears the number 2 now, and he's a striker. What's that? What is that about? That's actually disgraceful. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. That's wrong.
Yeah, you got the Longstaff brothers as well. That's one I think you forgot as well.
Yeah, but when I said decent prospect, you know what I mean? Like Matty Longstaff's not even at the club anymore now. We released him in the summer, and Sean is Sean. I mean, do you know what? I actually like Sean. We genuinely missed him when he was injured.
I thought he was all right, man.
Yeah, we missed him last season when he was injured, but
we nearly bought him for 50 million. I remember, was it Mourinho wanted him for 50 million? I don't know who it was, but yeah. 50 M's, we could have bought Sean Longstaff, mate. Crazy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you were going to buy him that summer, and then literally like 2 weeks later, he got injured for like for a year.
Yeah, that was it.
That's the reason why you won't be able to ever sign just these hidden gems, though, Saeed, because every team in the world knows who Man United Football Club are. So you're a walking pound sign to all of these clubs, no matter where they are in the football pyramid. They want your dollar because they're not going to take your broke as an excuse. They know that you can pay, and if you don't pay, you're not going to get the player.
As well, Errol, right? Let's just talk about that for a second. Yeah, you know when Brighton signed Caicedo for 5 million, and United could have signed him for 5 million. Yeah, if Caicedo come into United and he would have flopped, all United fans would have been kicking off, going, "Why have we signed this guy for £5 million? We are a broke club." Yeah. So another problem you have is because of the size of the football club, you can't afford to take them. You can maybe bring them in as rotational players, but you want starting players to come in, week out. You know, I just don't think you can do it because your fans will kick off.
No, but I think for me, we need to make these little. For me, a football club should be having an investment. That Caicedo, even if he flops, like we could still sell him on for a decent price. Like I generally think for me, them sort of players, you've put them in the right kind of system and you nurture them well, he can become that player. But the problem is when everything around it is so bad, it looks like he's going to flop or whatnot. But he'd probably, if he's that good, he will still be a quality player for Man United. But
it's better than spending 90 M's on like Anthony, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
And him flopping, then he would spend like 5.
Enzo Fernandez was another one as well. We were linked with as well. So I don't know, man. I just think for me, it's tiring, man. It's tiring.
It's tiring, Saeed, but the problem is because of the size of your football club. For example, right, let's say you didn't sign Casemiro, right, and you signed Caicedo for 5 million. Let's say that Caicedo comes in and flops, and then your fans find out that you had the chance to sign Casemiro at 60 million quid. Your fans are going to be kicking off. It's not just your club.
That's hypothetical, though, because he's obviously now matured into the play.
It's hypothetical, but that's probably one of the reasons that they're doing it, because the United needs to get proven winners in.
Well, there you go.
We all need to get proven winners. We're trying to win the league.
But look what Kendall said. We need to do both. We need to buy for now and also buy with the youth. Like mix and blend. That's what you got to do. Mix and blend. But listen, we could be here all day, and I want to wrap it up because I'm actually lacking. But listen, guys, big up to everybody who's here. 1.7K still here throughout the whole video. Please, guys, hit the like button. We've only got 718 likes. Let's get 1,000 likes before we go. Kendall, big up to you for coming on. And listen, this will not be the last time you come on. I promise you.
No,
So
I'm
big
holding
up
you to
to you,
that this
Kendall.
time, actually. Thanks God. You're
I will.
leaving us in lockdown. Actually, shambolic that side. I'm not happy about
Yeah,
that.
shambolic. Sorry, yeah, bad from me. Bad from
You're
me.
all right. I'll on any time. You shout me anytime. But thank you for having me, though.
Yeah, make sure you follow Kendall on her channel. It's in the link in the description. Big up to you for coming on. Man like LB. What are you saying, man? Big up to you for coming on, man.
Yeah, easy, bro. I'll see you in the last 16, innit? Because we will be there. We will be
No
there.
guarantees for me.
We will
No
be there.
guarantees. I don't know why you're saying we'll see you. You might not see me.
Yeah,
I
we
might be
might
in
not
Europa
see you.
League.
We might not see you.
I'll
See
see
me.
you in the last round of 32, lad.
Yo, listen. Oh, listen. I'd rather go out. I'd rather go out at all than get back into that Europa League where you lot are. That's just the competition.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to be in that Europa League. Honestly, it's you know how bad Thursdays are chilling. They're just relaxing days. Imagine having to watch Europa League on a Thursday night and then play on a Sunday. It's gonna absolutely mess you. But good luck, Errol, and thanks for coming on.
I'll be seeing his all on the city, man.
Yeah, man. Big
Well, there you go.
No.
There you go. But yeah, big up to everybody who's watching. I'll be back tomorrow, transfer deadline day. Are United gonna sign anyone? Regulion, Amrabat, who knows? Guys, I'll see you tomorrow.